I planted some Bacopa, a tissue culture from PetSmart, in this no substrate aquascape. And we did that by simply weighing the plants down in the aquarium. So today we're going to check in on these Bacopa. How are they growing? What do the roots look like? Are there any leaves that have fallen off or melted off? And what does the general health look like of this Bacopa plant? Because sometimes aquarium plants can be really confusing and complicated, and I like to keep things as simple as possible. So what we're looking at is a soil and wastewater analysis lab that I sent detritus, mulm, muck, gunk, whatever you want to call it, that brown fluffy stuff at the bottom of your aquarium. I call it aquarium waste because that's typically what it is. And a majority of it is fish poop, shrimp poop, and snail poop. So it does get talked about in the aquarium hobby, but no one's ever tested it to find out exactly what is inside. So what you'll see here is there is a plethora of nutrients and minerals inside of this aquarium waste, and arguably it comes with more inside of it than the average bottled fertilizer or root tab. And on top of that, the numbers are comparable in a lot of cases, especially when it comes to something like nitrogen. When you compare the nitrogen contents of aquarium waste to something like Easy Green, it's very close. The aquarium waste comes in at 2.57%, and we've got Easy Green at 2.6. So there's a 0.03 difference, which I would think is negligible. Now, for you to know what's inside of your aquarium waste, the only way to do that is to send your aquarium waste off to a soil and wastewater analysis lab where they can test yours for you. So we're going to start with the right side and take a close look at exactly how the last 9 days has treated these aquarium plants. I'm going to try to check in on these plants every so often and just monitor their growth, if they're melting or not. What are the roots doing? How healthy does the plant look? So what we're going to want to look at in this update and in future updates on these plants is the new growth. So down here you see a bunch of leaves that are growing really close together. Typically that's a good sign. When we look up here as well, you kind of see the same thing, that these leaves are growing close together. And what I mean by that is the spacing in between the individual leaves. A lot of times if plants aren't getting enough light, there'll be a really big space in between the leaves. Now, as this plant grows, this space here will get a little bigger. But if what we saw here was a giant space in between the leaves, that would definitely be something that we would need to look at a little closer. But from what I see at the tip top of the plants is we have continued growth here from when we first planted it on pretty much the tips of all of the stems here. Even down towards the bottom, these shorter stems all have tips on them that aren't missing any leaves at all. There's no melt. It definitely looks like the plant is continuing to grow, which is great because obviously that's what we want to see. Now, we're also going to look at the growth that did not happen in the aquarium, but we're not looking to see necessarily how these leaves look as far as if they look healthy or not. Although they do look great, what we're really looking for is holes. So I'm just kind of scanning the length of the stem here, looking at all the individual leaves, and I see absolutely no signs of any holes that are developing in the leaves. I see no discoloration. I don't see any nodes on this plant where there's a leaf missing on one side. Sometimes when the plants start to melt a little bit and drop leaves when they're transitioning from a different aquarium or from a tissue culture, they don't always drop both leaves on a node at the same time. So you want to make sure you check each side. This plant looks amazing. It looks like we have not lost any leaves. There's no melt. There's no algae growing on this plant. It doesn't look like it's suffering in any way. So let's look down here at the roots. If you notice, there's a plant weight down here where I just have the plant weight loosely wrapped around the base of the plant, and that's what's holding the plant down in this aquarium. Contact your local soil and wastewater analysis lab and send them a little sample of your aquarium waste. You'll probably find, just like I did, that your aquarium waste is so rich in nutrients and minerals, you may be able to save that $20 and put it into some new fish or some hardscape. Still spend it with your local pet store or even your big box retailer if that's where you like to go. Buy aquarium stuff, but maybe skip out on the liquid fertilizers and root tabs if your aquarium waste contains all that stuff. There's no reason to remove all of your aquarium waste and use it to feed your houseplants, or dump it out on the ground outside, or let it flow down the drain, and then replace it with commercial products. So we're going to look a little closer at this Bacopa here, and it is looking mighty fine from this distance. But I'm going to move the camera a little closer to this aquarium, and we'll get down towards the roots here and just kind of see what the roots are looking like 9 days in. You can see that clamp down at the bottom of plant weight. It's literally sandwiching a couple pieces of the roots and weighing down this plant with little effort. And that replaces the need for gravel in this situation, because the gravel your aquarium plants typically need to hold themselves down. Now, let's be clear. I'm by no means saying that you shouldn't have substrate. In aquariums just above these, I have aqua soil. In another aquarium just above this, I have gravel. But I like to use these no substrate aquascapes that are fully planted like this in order to demonstrate exactly what I mean when I say that plants don't need substrate. Because for whatever reason in the aquarium hobby, we look at tiny rocks like it's a nutrient source for plants in the instance that you have a gravel substrate. And what it really is just little tiny plant weights. So let's take a closer look here at the tips of the top of the plant and inspect the top of the plant as well for any missing leaves, and look at nodes here. And they all look great. I don't see any issues at all. But this plant, just like the other side, looks absolutely stunning. It's growing like Bacopa does. It just grows straight up more or less. And it's going to be interesting to see how it grows over time in this no substrate aquarium, because again, in this aquarium, I am relying on that fluffy brown stuff at the bottom, the waste, the detritus, the gunk. So I hope you enjoyed the video and that you have enjoyed taking a look and a check-in of these beautiful Bacopa plants that we've got in here. Stop back by and we'll check on this plant again in the future. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.